TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Shalom from Israel.
Well, Bennett addressed the nation twice this week.
Oh my.
First time he addressed the nation to literally attack the 1.1 million Israelis that have not got vaccinated up until now. There's only 1.1 million that haven't out of 9.5. And he just basically told them now that if you're not vaccinated, they will not be able to go to synagogues, ball games, weddings, any kind of events where large groups of people are attending without paying for their own corona test right before, and it starts on the 8th of August, this new law.
It's hard for me to understand at my age how a leader of a country can tell the people they have to take a shot, a vaccine. They have to allow someone to introduce to them foreign substance into their body and forced by the government. That doesn't sound like a democracy to me. It doesn't sound like a place where a free person wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thousands of people have been protesting outside of his house. You know, he still lives in Ra'anana. He doesn't even move into the capital, to Jerusalem, right? Outside of his house there. Because they don't want to be forced into getting to stay home on lockdowns or get vaccinated and stuff. And he basically, when he addressed the nation, he answered by saying, no protest will help you. You need to go get vaccine.
Yeah, that's another very sad commentary right there.
That's very sad.
When a leader says, "I don't care what you want, you're going to do it my way or the highway," right?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, he's supposed to be there by the will of the people. I mean, they voted for him, right?
Yeah.
Not in this case. Maybe they didn't vote for him.
Yeah, only 5% of the country voted for him. 95% didn't.
Yeah. Sounds a whole lot like America, doesn't it? Here we go with the parallel again.
Right, absolutely.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing, the parallel between the two.
Yeah, it is. Bennett also threatened restrictions already for next year's school year, that the kids won't even be going to school and stuff if we don't start vaccinating the kids from 12 and up, which is ridiculous.
You know, I don't know if anyone's ever tried to wear one of those masks. My longest time to wear one is maybe 20 minutes or a half hour or something like that, right?
It's rough.
And it's rough. And can you imagine a 3-year-old, 5-year-old in school having to wear it for 8 hours? And, you know, I saw pictures of small children with all kinds of sores all around their face.
Yes.
Because of the bacteria building up, breathing inside of that mask.
Absolutely.
It's just, I think it's almost criminal to tell children in school that and they don't need it. I mean, the science, they keep talking about the science, right?
Yeah.
The science really proves that the kids don't need it. They don't need the vaccine, and they don't need the mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, started this morning. Bennett made it where you have to get everyone needs to go get the third booster shot, the third vaccine, the third shot. And which is very strange because it is against the recommendations of the FDA and Pfizer themselves. Pfizer still hasn't said you should get the third shot.
You know, if I was the head of Pfizer, I'd be real happy about that.
Oh yeah, more money.
It just made me another $1 trillion, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about money. But most things we're talking about when you're talking about politics, you're talking about money.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, now we get off of that Corona subject. One really interesting thing has happened. A government employee of the foreign ministry. Now remember, the foreign ministry, the foreign minister is Yair Lapid, our next in line to be prime minister, but him and Bennett did the, first me, then you deal, right? So it's his office, the ministry for the foreign ministry. An employee from that office was caught that he had gone to Iran, met with Iranian intelligence, and came back. He's been in Mossad interrogations for the past 10 days. And we'll see what happened through that, but...
Yeah, I would call it, that's beyond suspicious. I mean, for a fact, the guy is colluding with the enemy, right?
Yeah, and he works for Lapid, the next in line to be our prime minister.
Yeah, and he's in the government. That's a sad state of affairs.
That's scary. I don't understand how something like that could even happen. Yeah. Yossi Cohen, which is our ex-Mossad, head of Mossad, we have a new guy now, He's also, by the way, well, he's under review right now because of suspicions of taking money and different kind of things. James Packer, which is a very, very wealthy billionaire media tycoon from Australia, Jewish guy who does a lot of support here in Israel and does a lot of things here. He was at Yossi Cohen's wedding and gave him a $10,000 gift. For that kind of person, that's nothing, right? And that's normal. And so now he's under review for taking money and stuff here, which I find very funny because one of the things Yossi Cohen is doing right now, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, is he's running now for the head of Likud.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like if you're elected to any kind of an official position in a government, you almost have to just figure out how you're going to survive on your salary because you can't make any money on the side.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a guy can do it honestly. I mean, he can, but bribery something else.
Yeah, but this was just a wedding gift.
I don't know.
There was a lot of people who gave money. Everyone gives money at the wedding. That's in America. People go and do their registry, and then you buy them a present. In Israel, that's not how you do it. People just write a check and give you money.
Yeah. I remember when we first came here about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
We had some friends that had a baby. So and the same thing here in Israel. If you have some friends that have babies, you don't bring them a baby blanket. You bring them some money. In Israel, you don't. So Mama went out and bought Connie, my wife, went out and bought a nice little dress for the baby, a baby girl, right?
Right.
And they frowned at us when we gave it to them, and then we noticed there wasn't anyone else around with any packages. Everybody had an envelope with some money in it. Right?
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. And also in America, it's the father of the bride who's supposed to pay for the wedding, right?
Yeah.
And in Israel, it's the father of the groom. And so what does he do? He gets you get your daughter married in America and me married here, so you had to pay both times.
Yeah, and I've never have been accused of being real smart.
You should have done it the other way around, then. You would have got out of it free.
Now you know why we're in a financial strait right now, huh?
Back to the serious news. Iran has a new tactic now. They just recently there's two Iranian guys that they picked up and basically disappeared, and they called them Mossad agents.
Yeah.
They have no connections to Mossad. They have no connections to Israel. They're basically just Iranians who speak out, whether they're journalists or just private citizens who speak out against their own government. And so Iran has decided they're going to call them Mossad agents. It gives them excuse to pick them up and probably killed them or something already.
Yeah, they'll behead them.
Yeah, and they say it's because it was Mossad. It has nothing to do with Mossad, nothing to do with Israel. It's just their new tactic.
Yeah. Well, on a different thing, but still talking about Iran. Of course, we all know about Iran in a mad dash to get the nuclear weapon, right?
Right.
But there's another thing going on in Iran right now. Their economy is crashed. It's just like the Lebanon economy. It's just completely crashed. But they was not only having problems right now in Iran trying to find food, but in Iran right now they don't have any fresh water to drink. They can't find fresh water to drink. People are in a terrible condition.
Yep.
So you can expect something happen there. While I'm on that subject about Iran, not only is the water in Iran bad, but and I mentioned Lebanon, but in Lebanon the dollars are deflated way below 90%. And people are hungry. They are really hungry. Meantime, they're finding it more and more difficult just to find food for the family.
Yep.
And Hezbollah is taking complete control over Lebanon. So what we've got looking at us right now is a terrorist organization taking control of the whole country of Lebanon, sitting here with over 200,000 missiles and rockets, all aimed at our civilian population. And they're faced with a situation with because they're backed by Iran, they're part of Iran, Shiites, and they're faced with a situation where they're going to have to use them or lose them. Talking about those missiles.
Yeah.
they're going to use them or lose them. So we're like, it seems like every other month in Israel we are looking at the almost certain war right away, right?
Right.
Then it fades away and comes back, and fades away and comes back.
Yeah, that's the way it is around here.
But this time there's 2 or 3 countries fading away and coming back at the same time. And we could have a war on about 3 different fronts. It could be really bad. In the meantime, we're trying to figure out how to get our boats in situations where we could save European Jewish lives.
Yeah.
And while I'm talking so much, I'll talk about Joe. Now, Joe started, I think 20 years ago, he started talking about wanting to feed the hungry kids in Israel. Now he's already started. He got his, what did you do? He traded your car in.
Yep. Got a truck.
For a used pickup truck. And now he's going to start. He already talked, just like his mother and I. We used to talk all the time to the social workers.
Yep.
Connie and I used to do this we did this for a long, long time, and they would give us the names because the social worker in the poorest areas of the schools,
she knows the kids that have
they know more about who's the poorest families in that area than anyone else because they see the kids coming to school hungry and clothes dirty and one thing and another. And so Joe's already talked to them, I think, in
a few of them. One in Beit Shemesh in Jerusalem and all over the place.
Oh yeah, I talked to him. So, and he's made orders for the right size cardboard boxes so he can pack them up full of food and start delivering to the 100 people. He's doing it on faith. I'm taking over this meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a good job.
He's taking over. He's completely doing this on faith. In the meantime, we're having trouble just paying our basic bills. But God says it's like having kids. We have the one kid called the boat ministry to save the European.
Yep.
So before that even matures, before that you have another birth, right?
Yes.
It's just like life. It's like having kids. Before you raise the first one to be so perfect, you have 2 or 3 follow right behind him.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And so anyway, by the way, just pray for Joe and me and pray about being part of feeding the kids here in Israel.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wouldn't know how to wrap it up better than that.
Well, there's probably a lot of things we could talk about. I want to say this. I can't believe, and I watch Fox News every now and then, more often than I should probably. And it's amazing the flooding going on in the world.
Oh, wow. I'm
talking about major floodings, like 1,000-year floods. No one's ever seen anything like it before. In Germany and Netherlands and in Cairo and not everywhere. Everywhere you look at it, it's just unbelievable. China, by the way, is probably the worst flooded of all. And then in America, you got in Arizona in the desert, the flooding. So it's like, and in the meantime, all the farmlands and everything around the country is being destroyed by floods and fires and droughts. And on top of that, then you got Bill Gates and Murdoch buying all the farmlands up in America because they know that's the next crisis and we're to make the most money from that point on.
Right.
Well, I'm getting carried away today.
No, but it's good. That's what we need to hear.
Huh?
That's what we need to hear.
We really need to pray about a lot of things. I'm a capitalist. Don't get me wrong when I say what I'm getting ready to say. I am a capitalist. But I think there's something wrong when you have people that's talking about being a trillionaire.
Yeah.
When you have individual men, 4 or 5 individual men around the country who have billions and even trillions of dollars, and the half of the world starving to death, there's something wrong with capitalism at that point. But I'm still a capitalist, don't get me wrong. I don't want nothing to do with socialism or communism.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But I'm saying these individuals have a lot on their shoulders. They really need to look up and find out who God is, and that one day they're going to have to sit in front of him or stand there in front of him with their head down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was good.
That's enough?
You got anything else?
No, that's enough.
Well then, I guess that's it. So until next week, don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com.
Shabbat Shalom from Israel.
Okay.